Hello. Welcome to our seasonally appropriate talk at Google today, a performance and Q&A with Flat Earth Theater's performance of Lovecraft's Tales Outside Time and Space, Extraordinary Tales from the Mind of H.P. Lovecraft, adapted for radio by A. Lehrmitt. And to introduce the company a little bit more, company member Lindsay Eagle will now come up.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are Flat Earth Theater, and we're a small theater company that's been operating in the Boston area for a little over 10 years. Our mission is to produce high-quality theater that makes people think. We want to challenge the world of our audience, and we're so excited to share some of that work with you here today. Our latest production, which ran through the month of October, was actually a series of 2 pieces called Dead But Dreaming, a month-long exploration of the work of H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft was, if you don't know, a cult science fiction horror author who wrote about the occult and other dimensions and big scary monsters like Cthulhu, who's probably his most infamous monster. Dead But Dreaming featured the stage reading of a new play by one of our founders, Kevin Mullins, called Arkham Books, which placed a diverse cast of both men and women, people of color, LGBTQ characters, people Lovecraft himself did not often write about, into a Lovecraft-style story. And, of course, Lovecraft's Tales Outside Time and Space, 4 extraordinary tales from the mind of H.P. Lovecraft, adapted for radio by our own Amy Lehrmitt. What you're about to see is an abridged version of that piece with 2 of those 4 stories and a little bit of something in between to tie it all together. And without further ado, I invite you to enjoy Lovecraft's Tales Outside Time and Space.
Am I late? Terribly sorry, folks. Very unprofessional of me.
Nice of you to finally join us. De Marny here and I were just going through your documents. You are very thorough.
It comes with the profession. I trust everything looks to be in order.
We have some opinions on the matter. We'll discuss that shortly.
Our esteemed guest hasn't arrived yet.
No one other than that is expected today?
None that I'm aware of.
Just the Swami. She should be here soon, I believe.
A shame. I've done what I could, but it seems even dividing a hefty estate can't lure everyone out of the woodwork.
Assuming indeed that is what is going to happen today.
Oh, it will, madame. We are very close to finally closing this issue and being considerably richer when we are done with it.
Not if I have anything to say about it. I've made my point time and again that
Miss
Randolph
Ward,
Carter...
be still. I'd like to wait until the Swami arrives before you bite Mr. Aspinwall's head off.
Don't tempt me.
Philippa?
Swami Chandraputra, very good of you to make it.
It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
The pleasure is mine. Nice to see you both in person. You're Adelaide Law.
Adelaide Law de Marny, welcome. Thank you for coming all this way. I know New Orleans must be a trek for you. This is Philippa Ward from Providence.
Yes, we've been in communication these past months.
And Ernest B. Aspinwall from Chicago, representing the various relatives.
And other vultures our dear friend Carter seems to attract.
Charmed.
Well, we all know why we're here. My old friend Carter named me literary and financial executor of his estate, and there's still much pushback from the next of kin.
Who are all at least third or fourth cousins, if not more distant, mind you.
It's been 4 years, Miss Ward. Let's just declare the man dead already and divide up the property.
Can we keep it to the facts for 5 minutes? The records state that Randolph Carter of Boston, Massachusetts went missing in the hills of Arkham on the 7th of October, 1928. Investigators found a parchment in a carven box inside his car.
I have the parchment right here. I've been researching it, but the language on it is like nothing of this world.
Indeed, Miss Ward. Neither have I been able to make heads nor tails of it.
May I see the parchment?
Of course. Here you are.
Yes. Yes, fascinating.
Do you recognize something, Swami Chandraputra?
Perhaps. Continue with what you were saying.
Of course. We have an additional account of what took place the night Carter disappeared. It comes from his old servant, a fellow by the name of Parks. He has since passed away.
Oh? That is quite the shame to hear. Parks was a good man.
Quite. He and Carter found a silver key in the same box as the parchment in the attic.
Where is the key now?
The key has not been found, but before he disappeared, Carter sent me a photograph of it saying he was close to solving its mystery. Which brings us to Miss Ward's theory.
Simply put, anyone who knows Carter, as I'm certain you don't, Mr. Aspinwall, can deduce that he is not dead.
Now, you see here, you old coot.
Excuse me! Settle down.
Tell me, Philippa, what is it that makes you think your friend Randolph Carter is still alive?
Carter was a practiced mystic, more practiced than I am. It is clear that he used the key to unlock the successive doors that bar our free march down the mighty corridors of space and time. I have reason to believe he rules as the new king of the dream city Ilikvald.
Which is as impossible to prove as it is preposterous. You cannot continue delaying this estate hearing because of some fantasy story you've conjured up.
There is actually ample precedent for beings harnessing the ability to travel in such a manner as Miss Ward indicates. I've attempted it myself, although with no such luck.
I must agree with you, Miss Ward, that cases of dimensional travel are abundant.
For crying out loud, men cannot travel to other dimensions.
But they can. It may take some amount of witchcraft, but they can, and they have. There was this boarding house near Miskatonic University in Arkham, where these sorts of stories were reported all the time.
Gilman, you in here?
Sure, Elwood, what's up?
Funny, I tried you last night and you weren't here.
I was probably sleeping.
No, I mean, I came in the room, it was about 2 in the morning, and
What were you doing up at 2 in the morning?
I couldn't figure out this homework assignment. I didn't want to intrude, but when you weren't in here...
Well, you must be mistaken. I would have been in my bed sleeping then.
It's happened several times now. Do you know if you sleepwalk?
I hardly think so.
Because I'm 1 floor under you, and I can hear you walking around at all hours of the night.
What?
I've never seen you sleepwalking around, but I wonder if maybe that's why you weren't here last night.
I don't know. Let me get my books out. This calculus isn't going to learn itself.
Oof, wow. I've never seen your room during the day before. It still surprises me you wanted to live up here.
The price sweetened the deal quite a bit.
Yes, but this was Keziah Mason's room way back when. That doesn't scare you?
That's actually why I chose this room in the first place.
Really? Why?
It's going to seem absurd.
Try me.
To be honest, I was curious if I'd be able to glean any of her, expertise by living in here. I thought it might help with my quantum physics classes.
Why? Because she was supposed to have been able to walk through walls, or however the story goes? She was just a crazy witch, Gilman.
Crazy witch or not, she told a judge point blank that she could use lines and curves to lead her from one space to other spaces beyond. And then she vanished right out of her jail cell over 200 years ago. Do you think that was a coincidence?
I think that was a story meant to scare children.
Look at the walls of this room, though. You have to admit there's something unusual about them.
I don't see anything wrong with this room except for the fact that everyone says it's haunted and you're dumb enough to rent it anyway.
I'm serious. Take this wall. It's not perfectly vertical. It's like there's something on the other side.
I suppose, but it's probably just rats. I get them in my room too.
And the ceiling kind of slopes down where it meets it, right there at the top.
Where?
Look at it from this angle.
Oh, you're right. What's above this room?
I don't know. I've climbed upstairs to the attic, but this section is blocked off by a wall. The landlord refused to let me behind it.
Ooh, that's spooky. Your room is probably definitely haunted, Gilman. I bet you even seen the old ghost of Keziah, haven't you? Oh my God, you have, haven't you? Tell me.
I don't know. I've been dreaming these strange things. It's like I can see her there in the funny corner, right as I fall asleep. Her and her terrible pet.
You've seen Brown Jenkin too? The giant rat thing with a human face?
He's got little human hands, too.
Gross.
And just before they reach me, I fall asleep and enter this sort of abyss, all strange angles and curves and full of all these structures. I don't know how to describe them. Sometimes it's as if the structures can see me and follow me.
That's positively bizarre, Gilman. That's like something straight out of Professor Upham's physics class.
It's really scary at the time. And sometimes I swear I see her in town. What do you think?
I think you're thinking too much, and we should probably stop staring at your spooky wall and go in my room downstairs instead.
Yeah, that's what I thought you'd think.
Come to us, boy. You must meet with Nyarlathotep.
No, get away from me.
Look at him, Brown Jenkin. A strong lad. He will be a fine addition. You must come with us, boy. We must meet Nyarlathotep at the throne of Azathoth at the center of chaos.
It's evil. No!
You think you have a choice?
I won't. Oh! Where am I?
You've made it through. You are becoming more powerful, I see.
What are you?
The book.
Huh?
You shall sign the book of Azathoth, Lord of all things in blood, and take a new name.
I won't. He's the ultimate horror. I will be destroyed.
You will sign!
Ah, my wrist! The vile creature bit me! Holy cow! Elwood, you awake, Fran? It's Gilman. Let me in.
What's going on? It's the middle of the night.
The nightmares. Keziah Mason, it's all gotten worse.
Gilman, your wrist.
What?
Your wrist, it's bleeding.
That's impossible.
Let me get you a cloth. Tell me what's going on.
I can't sleep up there anymore. The dreams have become inexplicable. What you were saying about me sleepwalking.
What happened?
I've started visiting these places after going through that void with all the angles and curves. I'll just appear on a hill or in a city or...
Wait, you sleepwalk there?
No, I go through the abyss and appear in these places. I must still be dreaming. I think tonight I appeared in the attic above my room.
Gilman, they're just dreams. You yourself said that there's no way up there, that it was sealed off, remember?
Brown Jenkin bit me in my dream tonight, here. And now it's bleeding. How is that possible?
The landlord hasn't been taking care of the rat problem. It was probably just one of them. We'll make a complaint in the morning.
I've been thinking about how you say I'm sleepwalking. Clearly, I'm going somewhere.
Apparently, but in your bedclothes, without your shoes?
It makes me think, what if the angles in the wall are what Keziah Mason used to enable interdimensional travel? And they're actually everywhere. If you knew how to use these angles, you could deliberately step out of this dimension and use a passage to take you to another.
And what, the corridor with all the shapes in your dreams is your passage?
Maybe it's just a theory.
It makes some sense, I suppose, but what prevents someone from appearing in a place where they cannot even survive? It's a scary thought, Gilman.
Can I sleep in your room in the meantime? Just the sight of that corner of the room where I always see her. I can't do it.
Of course you can. I'll ask the landlord if you can borrow a cot or something in the morning. You know, Gilman, while Porgus Night is coming up, all the locals are talking about it.
They've been pretty spooked, but they're always pretty spooked.
They say bad things happen around here May Eve. children go missing, that sort of thing. It's worrisome enough to make me superstitious. I didn't want to say, but everyone in the building says that they see a violet light coming out of your room at night.
What? Why haven't they said anything?
They're scared to talk to you because they think you're cursed. Violet lights are supposed to be associated with Keziah Mason, and you've been dreaming about her.
Did you tell them that?
No. A lot of people around here think this place is haunted.
And what do you think?
I don't know.
Have I just been dreaming? Or is there something more?
There you are. You think you can hide from us in your classmate's room?
What? No! Elwood! Elwood, wake up!
She cannot reach you now. Come, we've work to do.
Where are we now?
You shall see. This way.
Let go. I'll comply, I swear. How do we get outside? Was it that dream corridor? Does it connect these places?
You ask a lot of questions, boy. Do you really think you're ready to know these things?
But you learned it, obviously. It can be taught.
That was a long time ago. Your science of today cannot explain the occult, but it is the most primal power humanity can face. I will show you.
Show me what?
Wait here. There's something I must acquire first.
I could bolt, you know.
You won't.
What are you doing? Give her back. No, please, no! Ah!
Take this!
What is... Oh, my lord! You've taken their baby! How could you?
You don't know how much more important it is to...
No, I won't stand for this.
Going somewhere, boy?
Let me go. I can't breathe.
You are a part of this now. You have been for a long time.
No.
Gilman? How did you get back up here?
I don't know.
There are muddy footprints all over your floor. What?
My throat.
But none in the hallway? What's wrong with your throat?
He was choking me.
Let me see. Who was choking you?
Nyarlathotep, the leader of the cult of the demon sultan Azathoth.
Gilman, there are bruises on your neck. What happened?
I think I'm in trouble.
Still no update on the kidnapped baby. The authorities seem to have given up.
It's Walpurgis night. Whatever is going to happen will happen soon.
And you think old Keziah actually used her dimension travel to steal that kid?
There's no other explanation.
People assumed cultists were behind it. The babies that go missing, they're never found. What do you think you can do?
I'm not sure I've figured out how she uses the corridor, but I'm as close as I'm going to get. I don't know what will happen if I try.
What's the worst that could happen?
You don't want to know.
How are you not scared?
You think I'm not scared? I must face this problem whether I want to or not. I don't know what she's going to do in my dream tonight, but I can't get out of this now.
Well, good night, Gilman. Godspeed.
Good night, Elwood.
Ia! Shub-Nigurath, the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young! So good of you to join us, Mr. Gilman. You are just in time.
In time for what?
The sacrifice.
Oh my god, no.
Hold the bowl. You will collect the sacrificial blood. All praises to he in the gulf, the all-powerful Azathoth who resides at the center of chaos.
Put down the knife. I can't let you.
Be still. You have no power here.
No!
Oh, you little fool. You will never learn the mystic ways.
I'll never help you. Die! Die, you old hag! Ow, get away, miserable rat, get off!
It's too late, my son.
No, she's dead, there's still time to...
The infant is lost.
No! That creature, Brown Jenkins, it couldn't have...
Yes, he is a loyal beast. You will learn as well.
I don't want this. I want to be rid of this place. I don't want any of it.
You think there is a choice? You've never made the dimensional jump without her. With one false step, there are worse places you can go. Do you think you have the power alone?
I have to.
The consequences are dire. Join us, and you will witness wonders.
I can make the jump. I can escape.
Fail, and you will be trapped in the abyss between time and space forever.
I have to. I have to.
Gilman? I'm here. What's going on? Help! Someone get help! Now! Oh my god, what's wrong? Walter, there's something wrong with your chest. What is that? It's in your chest. He's bleeding. Would someone go and run for help? Gilman! Oh, merciless bloody hell, God save us. It's burrowing out of his chest. The creature is... No!
I have seen that building, what's left of it at least. It was immediately abandoned, and years later a gale wind wrecked the roof. Workmen on the site discovered human bones in those walls. Bones of small children and an old woman, and the crushed skeleton of a rodent no biologist could place.
What an interesting way of contemplating movement through time and space. I'd not considered that before in my studies.
It is not without its faults. More direct methods of dimensional travel have an almost limitless range.
That's right, Swami Chandraputra. You have insight into these areas. Would you tell us what you've learned of the case for Randolph Carter still being alive?
Yes, that will be much more relevant.
These theories of transdimensional travel, our friend Carter had approached them not only with earthly powers, but with aspects he had seen in his dreams. Whole worlds in the mystic dreams he had encountered proved to have really existed elsewhere in time and space, the past or the future, galaxies away.
Like the worlds that Walter Gilman visited in his dreams with the witch.
I knew an old professor plagued by dreams of that sort. But how can you tell which come from an extant place and which merely come from irrational dreams?
Those of us with some level of control over our dreams can make that process easier.
Oh, see, that was not the case with my friend. It happened that he once awoke in the hospital.
Many factors within the...
He's stabilized, but he's still talking gibberish.
Mr. Peasley, can you hear me?
In addition to the rise in social and economic...
What on earth is he talking about?
Oh, just be glad it's in English now.
The Enlightenment's
He used to be a history professor at Miskatonic, didn't he?
The economy of France was also... is also in...
Mr. Peasley, you're not in a lecture.
What?
Snap to, old boy.
Where am I?
You're at the hospital, Mr. Peasley. You fell unconscious and your breathing and heart rate were irregular.
You're quite all right now.
Oh, dear. Who finished my lecture?
Your lecture? Dr. Rutherford, what is he talking about?
Mr. Peasley, what date do you think it is?
Why, it's May the 14th, 1908, of course. Is it not?
I'm very sorry, sir, but the date is September 26th, 1913.
I've been unconscious for 5 years?
Actually, no.
If you weren't already doing so, I'd ask you to sit down for this, my good man.
He does seem more like himself now, doesn't he?
He does, actually. The expression. There's something in his gaze that looks like himself again.
Doctor, what is going on? What's happened?
I'm going to ask the nurses to call in his wife and children. They're going to want to know.
Thank you, Dr. Marsh. Mr. Peasley, you've been quite the medical phenomenon these past 5 years. You remember none of it?
I don't believe so. The last thing I remember was feeling a little feverish in front of my class and that headache.
Yes, you passed out in that lecture and were admitted here. When you awoke, you had no memory of who you are, any details about your life, or anything at all, really.
I've had amnesia for 5 years. What have I been doing all this time?
It was quite interesting from a medical standpoint, actually. In your blank state, your sort of secondary personality came out. You were, or rather, he was, very interested in learning.
I can't believe it. I remember none of this. Learning? What did he want to learn, this not me?
This and that. Started with a lot of histories, which seemed within your character, but he also moved on to some rather questionable materials. I saw him with the Necronomicon on several occasions. Don't know what he was doing with it.
What did he want with it?
Sorry to interrupt. Mrs. Peasley still refuses to come back to Arkham for any reason.
Alice, is she all right?
I'm afraid your prolonged amnesiac state took its toll on your relationship.
Henriette, I'm not sure now is the time to burden...
What happened? Where is she?
She grew very frightened of you after a time, especially after your trip to the Himalayas.
What?
And eventually filed for divorce.
Oh my God. No. Alice, no.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Peasley. If it's any consolation, your son Wingate would like to see you. He's arranging for transportation.
This is a great deal to take in right now. May I be alone for a time?
Of course. Let us know if you need anything.
Poor chap.
Himalayas. Are you writing your history?
Yes. Many of us are doing so. Our hosts will find it most beneficial.
What are you writing about?
About my people's conquering of the tribes to expand our borders. Did not your people do the same?
You know, I was a history professor. Warfare was not an uncommon subject, but I like to think we learn from it.
I have found that close to every species I have met here shares the same kinds of stories. Whatever planet from which you hail, from whatever time your people ruled, much is the same.
That is a depressing thought. Do your people not value free will, individuality?
We both ended up here, did we not? Look at us.
I try not to.
Still, you are weak. Look at yourself and tell me you believe in free will.
I perfectly know well Wingate! Wingate!
I'm here, Father. Was it another one of those dreams?
Oh, it was. It was terrifying.
Were you back in the gigantic city with the
hieroglyphs? Yes, on the walls. I was talking with one of them.
Which one? One with a human mind or another one?
I can't keep them straight. They all just look like conical stalks with all those appendages out of the top. It could have been one of the human-minded ones. I'm not sure, but it's so disconcerting.
And what happened?
We were just chatting, and I happened to look down at myself, and
what?
And I was one of those things too. My God, Wingate, these dreams, they're driving me mad.
That is very interesting, actually.
What is? Have you thought of something?
I found some stories like yours. Look, here. This is one of the books that the alternate you checked out.
It's the Book of Ivan, yes. My secondary personality read that one an awful lot, I hear.
And here are some of those hieroglyphs you said you recognized.
Yes. This symbol here refers to terrestrial beings, or so my dreams seem to inform me.
Listen to this passage. Individuals of the great race of Yith have the ability to project themselves through time and space and enter the mind of another organism in the past or future. The displaced mind would then be held captive in the body of the displacer until their research had been completed.
Research? What are they researching?
Everything, it seems. It is said they were able to learn all things that ever were known or ever would be known in the universe. And they keep all this information in the
archive vaults. Yes, I saw those in my dreams.
The details sync up very closely, you see. I have a theory, Father.
Let me brace myself for this.
No, it's very simple, actually. If the alternate you read all this information before, then perhaps it made an impression on your subconscious.
Yes, go on.
And over these past years, your mind has pieced together everything he was reading and created this ingrained memory of it.
Yes, simple transference. I think you're onto something, son.
So there's nothing to fear in these dreams. In all likelihood, you've just assimilated the research from that 5-year stretch into your memory, where it manifests as dreams.
Oh, is that all? Well, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Psychologically, it's fascinating. I think we should start publishing your dreams.
That's an idea. Perhaps it would help you with your studies as well.
Perhaps. Anyway, I should be getting going.
Got a class soon?
I do, and I need this one for the psychology credits.
I'll see you for dinner. And Wingate, my boy. Thank you.
Nathaniel Wingate Peasley, come look at the city with me.
Hello, Nugsoth. You can just refer to me as Nathaniel, you know.
That would be strange. Do you see those windowless towers at the edge of the city of the great race?
Yes. The Yithians tell me they predate the city.
They do. But the creatures of the great race of Yith, locked away, will one day return. You can detect them at times beneath the trapdoors on the lowest archive level.
I have felt this. Those trapdoors give me the willies.
That last phrase did not translate.
They scare me. What will the Yithians do?
Our benevolent hosts have selected a race that lives many eons after my people on Earth. It is with these beings that they will switch bodies when the uprising comes.
I am conflicted how to feel about that, Nugsoth.
They have done this before. That is how they got here.
I am aware, but it is very complicated, morally.
Why?
Because they are consigning this innocent species to face these monsters entirely unprepared, while they escape. They are dooming an entire race just because they are smarter. It does not seem fair to me.
You are a strange human, Nathaniel Wingate Peasley.
Father?
Huh?
Father? Oh, there you are.
Oh, hello, Wingate. Sorry, I must have dozed off.
I brought your mail from the university.
Thank you.
You've got a letter from Pilbara, Western Australia here.
Open it for me, would you?
Interesting. This professor in Australia says miners have found some stones in the desert. They have marks matching some of the hieroglyphs that we published in the Journal of the American Psychological Society.
What are the hieroglyphs doing in
Hush, Father. It seems to him and some other professors at Perth that there may have been a civilization there with connections to the research we were doing.
Well, that is interesting. Did they enclose a picture of the stones?
No. They're inviting you to Australia to see for yourself and join their expedition.
Yes, I'll speak with Professors Dyer and Ashley and some of the other science faculty and see if they're interested.
Are you sure? Seems like an awful lot of money and a lot of traveling. And for what exactly?
I'd like to see what they've found, my boy.
Then I'm coming with you. I'll talk to the rest of the psychology department as well.
Very good. I'm not sure I can make you understand, but I think we should do this.
You have started writing your history account, Nathaniel Wingate Peasley.
Yes, I have finally decided to get it all down, seeing as I don't know how long I will be a guest here.
Of what are you writing?
Have you ever heard of Napoleon?
I have not.
I used to teach a class on him. He was a very important historic figure in my time.
In the year 16,000, we do not have use for this information. My people only need to conquer.
Yes, so you have told me, Nugsoth. Your Earth must be a very different place from my Earth. We valued information and knowledge to succeed.
You are like the great race of Yith, then.
Because we value knowledge? I suppose so.
But all of their learning will not stop the great flying things imprisoned beneath the trapdoors. One day, they will escape.
Mr. Peasley, shouldn't you be sleeping? It's been a long couple of days excavating and you'll need your rest.
I've been having trouble sleeping lately. We haven't found what I've been looking for, and it's beginning to make me anxious.
Well, these things happen in the mines. Days, weeks can go by, and then eureka.
I don't suppose I can ask you to serve as my guide tonight and take a walk through the dig with me. There's a section to the northwest I've been thinking about.
You want to go out there? At 11 at night?
I'll pay you your daily wages.
You do know what they say is out there.
Other than lots more ancient rocks to dig up?
They say terrible things happen out there. That the winds stir up underground villages where great beings sleep and will one day awaken to devour the world.
Very well. I'll pay you double your wages. I have this feeling like there's something out there.
Oh, deal. But if the wind picks up, we're dogging it back here.
Good man. This way.
Look, Mr. Peasley. There's more of those stone blocks out here. Oh, the most we've found yet.
They look dreadfully familiar, these markings. Wait, I know exactly where we are.
Where?
This would have been a corridor I've seen before. If this structure was still standing, there would be rooms down that way, and an incline to another level down that way.
This is most unusual, sir. The expedition leaders, they say you know about these things. But how can you? These rocks have been under the sand for centuries.
Hundreds of millions of years, actually. Over here. Look at this. There seems to be a stream of air coming up from this heap. Here, help me move some of these blocks.
This is not what I signed on for. We were supposed to just be mining for gold before your science lot showed up.
One more block. Here. 1, 2, 3.
Looky there. We found an opening. And a ramp going down.
Yes, we did.
Wait, you're going down there? No one knows where we've gone. No, we should go back and tell the rest of the team in the morning.
I know where I'm going. I've been here before.
It's too dark, sir.
Then stay close. I'll need use of your flashlight and batteries.
I can't believe I'm doing this. Wait for me! How do you know where you're going?
It's all perfectly preserved. I had no idea these rooms were so huge. Am I dreaming? Is this insanity?
I cannot tell you this isn't madness, sir. Those stories the locals tell are striking me as dangerously true right now.
This way, to the archives.
They could be inhuman monsters as well.
Be careful of all this rubble. Down to the lowest floor.
Mother of God, did you see the marks on these walls?
Yes. This is the symbol for terrestrial species. Like us.
I will never understand you science types.
Here we are.
What's that over there? It looks like a trap door.
I see it. My God, it's open.
What does that mean?
Flying things. They would be extinct by now. They wiped out the conical beings.
Easily. There are footsteps going to and from it. We've got to get out of here.
No, they're long gone. Nothing can harm us now. The vaults. This one. Give me a boost.
How are you going to open that vault?
I know the mechanism. Assuming it still works. Got it.
What's that?
I need to see that this scroll is what I think it is. What I fear it is.
Open it. What's wrong?
Do you know what it means if this scroll is? And if I'm not dreaming, if this is real, then what it means about how the world works, how everything...
Oh, give it here. I don't understand. If this place has been buried for hundreds of millions of years, what is this scroll about the French Revolution doing here?
It is. Christ, this was my work. This is the history I wrote for them. I don't believe it.
Don't believe what?
The city of the great race was here. Wow! What is that?
Can we get out of here now?
Yes, bring the scroll. I'll show it to my son as proof. Wingate will know what to do. He must. Let's go. This way.
Careful, the debris.
Run!
Where's it coming from? Behind or ahead?
I don't know. Oh. I don't think I can make the jump over this crevasse.
You have to. Jump!
Ah!
You see those windowless towers at the edge of the city of the great race.
Jump, Mr. Paisley! We have to get out of here! They're coming!
The creatures that the great race of Yith locked away will one day return.
What's happening? We have to get out! We have to get out!
All of their learning will not stop the great flying things imprisoned beneath the trap doors.
We have to get out!
You are a strange human, Nathaniel Wingate Peasley.
Father, where have you been? You look terrible.
Wingate, thank God.
Are you all right? You're all scraped up.
I can't do this. I have to get out of here. I have to get out of Australia today.
What happened? Did you get trapped in the windstorm last night?
The ruins are out that way.
That way?
Yes. The buildings and the great city in my dreams. They're here.
We've surveyed everything in that direction. There was nothing out there.
The man, the Australian miner who went with me. He has my scroll as physical evidence. Did he return? I didn't see him out there.
Wait, which miner went with you?
My God, I never knew his name. He's gone now, and he has the scroll.
Father, don't you see? You must have fallen asleep.
No, please. You must believe me.
Father, I'm sorry.
No.
These were only more dreams. There never was a man.
No. We have to find that scroll. Don't you understand? All along, they weren't dreams. They were memories.
That would explain so much of our current predicament.
Can't somebody shut that old fool up? The problem is to divide up the property, and it's about time we got to it.
There is more to this matter than you think. You've asked me here to deliver what facts I have, and so I shall.
Finally, we're getting somewhere. You could have said something ages ago, and we could have avoided all of this malarkey.
Hush you. I'm interested in what the Swami has to say.
It is as you said. Once Carter traveled to a cave in the woods. He used the key to open the gate, outside of space, outside of time. But he did not venture to Ilikvad as he had planned to do. Instead, his consciousness was placed in the mind of his archetype on a fantastic world he dreamt of.
His mind was swapped into an alien body?
Just like the Yithians. I knew that story had its basis in fact.
Not entirely. He had to share the mind with its host, Zakauba, the wizard of Yadith. There was outright war between the two for control of his brain.
What is the point of all of this, Swami?
This.
The silver key? You mean he's back?
You could have gotten that key any number of ways. You could have killed him for all we know. If Carter is around today, then where is he?
He came to me. But be warned, he is still in the body of Zakauba, using drugs to keep the host personality dormant. The sight of him in this alien shell would drive a man insane.
He's returned to find a way to regain his human form.
The parchment.
How long do you expect me to listen to this foolery? I've listened to an hour of this madness, and now the Swami has the damned gall to say that Randolph Carter is alive.
Nothing the Swami has said is impossible from my experience. We must accept her story as possible until we hear from your cousin.
My God. I've got it. This rascal is in disguise. Look close. Behind the turban and the veil, she's wearing a mask. Give me that veil and I'll prove it.
Aspinwall, what has gotten into you?
No, don't touch it, I implore you.
You're out of your mind, old man.
Stop! You're right. This face is a mask, but what it covers is not human, so let it alone. Ernest, I may as well tell you that I am Randolph Carter.
Carter!
Oh, no, you don't, you liar. You can't scare me. What are you hiding under there? Why don't you want us to see who you really are?
No! Don't touch the mask! No!
There! Oh, what is that?
What have you done, Aspinwall?
What's wrong? What's happening?
Oh my God, he's having a heart attack.
Get out of the way, Philippa. We have to help him.
Don't look, Adelaide. It's too late for him.
No, let me go.
He's dead. Don't you understand?
Understand what? Oh, Carter, where are you going?
Don't. It's not Carter anymore. We don't know what we're up against. That other facet, Zakauba, the wizard of Yadith, we mustn't look upon that which we cannot understand.
He's vanished.
The manuscript, where is it?
Oh, he left it right here.
Good heavens. But that means...
Oh, Philippa, there's nothing we can do for him now. Randolph Carter is gone again. To another time, another place.
Thanks everyone for coming. We are about to do a talk back now. We have the playwright here, or the adapter of the stories, and the director also, and the cast and Foley team here. We have 2 mics set up if you want to step up there, and ask some questions.
Hey, so I have a question for the Foleys. What's your favorite sound to make?
I would say anything that involves a human body being mutilated in some way. That tends to be my favorite, and You can see here from this pile of celery pieces that I thoroughly enjoyed that one during this show.
I did a previous show with Post-Meridian radio players where there was a sword fight, and the other Foley person and I were actually kind of dueling with the props, and that was a lot of fun.
So I'm Ames Lehrmitt. I adapted the script, Lovecraft's Tales Outside Time and Space. And I think Lovecraft specifically, as a horror writer, translates perfectly to radio because so much of the material in a Lovecraft story are things that you cannot imagine in your wildest dreams, are things that are unnameable monsters or are beings that exist in other dimensions that, if you were trying to create artistic work of it, your mind would just go to like new places, would be things that you can't physically see sometimes. 2 years ago, I did a different Lovecraft piece. It was called Lovecraft's Unnameable Tales, which were all stories about things that were unnameable, things that don't have words in the English language. And I remember like our sound team for that show and our Foley team for that show had a lot of like wild noises that they made. And this show too, of course. This show had a lot of great noises as well because it's all new material. It's all stuff that it doesn't have words.
Yeah. Well, first, thanks for coming and thanks for the performance. I really enjoyed it. I've heard of the radio plays, but never seen them live. It's really neat to see what's going on behind the scenes.
Thanks.
I should also remark that I'm a fan of Lovecraft's work myself. But as a fan, I'm kind of aware of being a fan of problematic things, right? That Lovecraft himself, it was pretty drastically racist, and it shows up a lot in his writings, and I'm just interested in your take as the adapter and your take as the players on how it is to work with Lovecraft's oeuvre today when our attitudes have shifted so dramatically.
Anyone want to take a stab at that particularly? I mean, I can also say that so as I mentioned at the top of the performance, this is part of a 2-part series of Lovecraft-inspired theater. We had another play that was also produced, a new play. It was called Arkham Books by one of our founding artists. Thank you, humans. And it was basically about putting people in a Lovecraft space that Lovecraft himself probably would not have wanted in his space. People of color, LGBTQ, women, stuff like that. So that was one way we wanted to address the racism inherent in his work. I don't know, Kristen?
Yes, I was going to say, I was actually in that show, and the phrase that Kevin, the playwright, used was, he wrote that to make Lovecraft roll over in his grave.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what's making that noise? Awkward. Hi there, I'm Liz, I'm the director. So that was actually something, when Ames first approached me about doing this show, I hesitated. I was like, he didn't like immigrants or women or brown people. He just didn't like people. How are we going to handle that? And, especially with the character named Swami Chandraputra, we wanted to make sure we didn't want to necessarily erase or sort of brush under the rug any of the problematic elements. But, we just, I don't know, we tried to sort of try to remember our thought process as we went through that. There were characters in the stories. I think there was one that was just called the Black Man. We're like, let's avoid that. That seems like it would imply something that we're not trying to. There was definitely sort of a dance and a balance to keep, where we wanted to sort of nod and acknowledge it, but not necessarily just push it aside quietly.
Yeah, I remember I specifically wrote this script, and I wrote Unnameable Tales script with all the characters specifically gender neutral, and then made the director figure out casting. And the easy answer for that is because we know a lot of amazing young actresses who should have their voices heard, should be allowed to have great roles in horror fiction and horror drama. And also because I think it also pushes that into the limelight, let's make sure that Lovecraft's very, very few roles for women is stomped on. I think the only character that I can think of that was an actual female character in a Lovecraft story was Keziah the Witch. And then I made Liz figure out the rest. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, I'll try and not go on tangents. But yeah, I mean, at that point it was sort of, I don't know. I felt like it was easy enough to sort of do some cross-gender casting. But I remember one in particular that stands out is the two doctors at the beginning of poor Peasley's adventure, where one Dr. Rutherford is just callous and
the
clinical.
worst bedside manner ever.
Just a jerk. And then Marsh is just kind of the nice one. And, like during that casting, I was like, all right, let's not go with the tired, the done casting and have Marsh, the nice one be the lady doctor and the male doctor be the jerk and sort of flip that. But aside from that, it just sort of, I feel like, just sort of went where the actors naturally fit into the roles, really.
It's a really good question. Thank you for asking that. Yes.
Hi. So my basic question is there like a canonical pronunciation of the names of the entities from Lovecraft, and who decides?
So we actually had a dramaturg. Haha, putting you on the spot. Yeah, we had a dramaturg. Dave was also a dramaturg. He was as well as an actor, and he kind of did some research on that, and you can speak to that.
I did very little research on that, but so very quickly, I literally, I spend like an hour Googling or something, and there's a lot more material mocking the idea that there's a canonical pronunciation than there is. I mean, there's actually no material trying to drive at a canonical pronunciation, and there's a lot of sort of people poking fun of the idea. So they're completely made up. I'm sure that Lovecraft probably had his own ideas, and we really, I think really in rehearsal, we worked stuff out, and we actually, I can't remember any of the specifics that we laid down, but we did things like make decisions about specific vowel sounds and try to make sure they were consistent across different words, and the same for diphthongs. So we were thoughtful about it. As far as I'm aware, there is no sort of canon, and that I think it would be, I would say it is probably an admirable thing about the community surrounding it that they don't seem too caught up on the question.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. I was listening to a couple of podcasts about Lovecraft stories, and in the same podcast, like the two people, delivering the conversation, between the two, they would have two different ways to pronounce a word. Like I've heard Nyarlathotep, I've heard Nyarlathotep, I've heard Nyarlathotep, I've heard Nyarlathotep, and I think it's just clear that there is no single way. That I don't think there's a way to say any of the monster names. Some of the actual place names maybe will have actual pronunciations, and we did look those up. But we just decided in rehearsal, this is the way that we're going to do it, so everyone do it this way for this show. Yeah.
So I haven't come up with a good question, but I really just want to hear each of the actors say something the way they normally talk and not... so like, I don't know, what's your favorite thing you ate for lunch? Or
I'll just say that my favorite thing about the show is the unspoken love between Elwood and Gilman.
It's not that unspoken, I don't think. There's definitely something going on there.
What's your name? What's your name, sir?
My name?
Yeah. Does everyone say your name?
Oh, say our name. My name is Jake Scaltreto.
That's how you pronounce your last name? My name is my name's Kathleen Lewis, and this is how I talk.
My name's Justin Hicks, and this is how I talk. I kind of have to go to both ends of the spectrum for this show. So.
My name is Marty Mason, and I was very excited that Keziah and I have the same last name.
I'm Chris, and I'm kind of rubbish without a script, so I'm afraid this is what you're getting out of me.
I'm Kristen, and I have
I guess this is what I sound like most days.
Yeah, and Foley, let's just say hi. So get to hear your voices.
Hi, I'm Naomi.
Hi, I'm Liberty.
Yeah, and also thanks to our team over there, our Justus and Lee. Thanks, guys. Keeping the sound real. Any other questions for us? This is a great audience. You guys are really interesting and interested. Thank you. No, seriously.
So first of all, I should point out that we have a newly opened floor over there, and we've got a Miskatonic U meeting room in it. So I don't know if there's a place you could, sign the meeting room or something that you could come over and visit and leave some memento. But the actual question is, also thinking back to the sort of structure of Lovecraft's stories, most of it is really sort of info dump expositions, right? Like even the places where he has dialogue, usually it's a thin veneer for somebody to go on for page after page about, their horrible experiences and so on. Clearly, in adaptation here, you've sort of fitted into a more normal conversational dialogue style. So I wonder, sort of just some thoughts on your process in doing so.
Very carefully. I don't know. Like that's an interesting question. I think a lot of it is looking at the stories that I want to do an adaptation of, and then these are all ones that had multiple characters, interesting characters that talked to each other. And a lot of Lovecraft stories, there aren't a lot of dialogue. There aren't a lot of characters that talk to other characters, and that I don't think makes for an interesting radio play because it's literally one guy walking around. But these ones, I either found ways to make characters talk who didn't otherwise talk, or in the case of the Australian character, the miner, I made him up entirely so that Peaslee would have somebody to talk to in the mines. And a lot of it is just shaping the way to make it work with dialogue, with audio, and also give the Foley team a lot to work with. And I think specifically like our cast, like these guys were all fantastic at it and came up with very different characters for each time that I threw a curveball at them. I'll make Liz talk again about how we found some of the voices they did too, because that was an awful lot of fun. Dave has a thought.
I just wanted to say really quickly, like there's a story that we didn't do, Whisper in Darkness, right?
Yeah.
Which is where there's a long scene at the beginning that is between two characters that are like, it's extremely exposition-y, but in a way, I always thought of it as like an excuse for Foley, right? Because they're walking around outside and just sort of saying like, there are aliens and they look like this, and this is what they are doing. But then like behind that, there's like, they're walking over different terrains and there's like water, there's like a river flowing. So there's sort of like a rich soundscape.
Oh, yeah, you missed the page and a half of water flowing that was in the full show.
Yeah, that's why you should check out the recording when the recording's going to get made, to hear more noises, more sound effects, and a lot of the cut scenes that were from this specific show. We actually cut a whole scene that was the voyage of Carter through the different gates that bar time and space.
Thank you so much for coming. We are Flat Earth Theater.